Good afternoon. Today's lecture is devoted to modern methods of pedagogical assessment. In contemporary education, assessment performs a far broader function than the simple recording of results. It serves as an instrument for interpreting student progress, identifying learning needs, and guiding subsequent instructional decisions. For that reason, assessment must be understood not as an isolated final procedure, but as an integral element of the educational process itself. The work of this lecture is structured around three objectives. First, it is necessary to examine the principal assessment methods and the features that distinguish them. Second, attention must be given to the practical use of these methods in real pedagogical situations. Third, it is important to establish criteria by which an appropriate assessment method may be selected in accordance with a particular learning goal. The lesson format listed on the slide, mini lecture, worked examples, practical task, and group discussion, is pedagogically appropriate, since the topic itself requires both conceptual understanding and applied judgment. Pedagogical assessment is defined here as the systematic collection of evidence concerning learning processes and outcomes in order to make informed decisions about student achievement, progress, and instructional next steps. This definition is methodologically important because it emphasizes evidence, interpretation, and decision-making rather than grading alone. Assessment, therefore, is significant not merely because it measures what has been learned, but because it informs what the teacher should do next. Its value lies in the connection between educational evidence and pedagogical action. Three purposes of assessment are distinguished on this slide: diagnostic, corrective, and predictive. The diagnostic function identifies current knowledge, skills, and misconceptions. The corrective function supports the adjustment of teaching and learning activity in response to what has been found. The predictive function makes it possible to judge future readiness and likely performance. The practical recommendation on the slide is especially sound, short, and regular diagnostic checks help reveal misconceptions before they become fixed. This reflects an important principle of contemporary pedagogy. Timely assessment is more valuable than delayed correction. Three purposes of assessment are distinguished on this slide: diagnostic, corrective, and predictive. The diagnostic function identifies current knowledge, skills, and misconceptions. The corrective function supports the adjustment of teaching and learning activity in response to what has been found. The predictive function makes it possible to judge future readiness and likely performance. The practical recommendation on the slide is especially sound, short, and regular diagnostic checks help reveal misconceptions before they become fixed. This reflects an important principle of contemporary pedagogy. Timely assessment is more valuable than delayed correction. This slide presents the range of methods examined in the lecture: formative checks, summative tests, performance tasks, portfolios, self-assessment, peer assessment, observation, diagnostic probes, and digital analytics. The breadth of this list is important because it demonstrates that no single assessment method is sufficient for all pedagogical purposes. Different methods make different dimensions of learning visible. Some are better suited to factual knowledge, others to application, reflection, or developmental change over time. The teacher's competence lies in recognizing these distinctions and selecting accordingly. Formative and observational methods are designed to support everyday instruction. Quick checks for understanding, observation during activities, anecdotal records, and one-to-one conferencing allow the teacher to identify difficulties while learning is still in progress. Their strength lies in immediacy. These methods make it possible to provide timely corrective feedback and to adapt instruction before misunderstanding becomes more deeply established. In this sense, they serve the regulation of learning rather than its final certification. The methods presented here are especially relevant to higher order learning. Performance tasks assess applied skill and transfer of knowledge to meaningful situations. Portfolios reveal development over time by combining artifacts with reflective commentary. Peer and self-assessment strengthen metacognitive awareness, provided that the process is guided by clear rubrics. The note on rubric design is particularly significant. Reliability in peer marking does not arise automatically. It depends on precise descriptors and shared criteria. Thus, reflective and participatory assessment still requires methodological discipline. The final methodological question concerns selection. Brief quizzes and automated tests are suitable where recall and foundational knowledge are central. Performance tasks and projects are more appropriate where the objective is application or synthesis. Portfolios and reflection are especially useful when growth and learner agency must be made visible. Diagnostic probes and analytics support targeted intervention and differentiation. The decision checklist on this slide is pedagogically well framed. Alignment with the learning objective must come first, followed by consideration of validity, reliability, feasibility, and transparency. Such sequence protects assessment from arbitrariness and keeps it tied to educational purpose. Thank you for your attention. I hope this lecture has clarified the logic, variety, and pedagogical value of modern assessment methods, as well as the principles by which they should be selected and applied in classroom practice. I will be pleased to answer your questions and continue the discussion.